This is going to be a tutorial on use of OneDrive and how you can work more collaboratively using it, including within your email. So if you've watched any of the previous videos, you'll have seen how to get to this point, this Office 365 area. If you don't know how to get to here, then you can either Google my UWE, or you can Google Office 365 login, and either one will take you to your institution's login page. There's tabs at the top, and you have Blackboard and UWE staff email with it. So once you're into your email area, click on these tiles at the top, and then you can either click on the three small buttons and open OneDrive in a new tab, or you can open it within the tab that you're currently in. Because I'm not going to go through email at the moment, I will just change the screen to my OneDrive. So these are all the files and folders that I'm uploaded into OneDrive, and within here you can either go to an area and upload a file or a folder, or if you are using it for the first time, then you'll be greeted with a blank area with no files or folders, just in the files main page. So what you can do here is go to upload folder and upload your entire My Documents, your entire My Computer, your entire Dropbox, whatever it might be. If you're working on two screens as I am, then you could have your My Computer here over on a different screen, and you could drag. You can see here that this would copy the contents of that folder to wherever I put it. Okay, which of course I don't need to do now, but that's a way for those of you who haven't used OneDrive for Business before to drag your current contents. Could be your H drive, could be all your memory sticks, and it will just continuously upload those files in the background, and they'll be in the same structure as you had them in the first place. Of course, this does provide a good opportunity to reorganize your files, delete some old ones, archive things, create an archive folder and move everything across, and then create a new file structure as you need to. Once you are in this area, then and you've got all your files in, that's when you can start working with them, or you can create new files in whatever location you're currently in. So if I was in this main files, this first top level, if I create a new Word document, Excel, PowerPoint, etc., it will create it in this level. If I went into email attachments, it would create the file within there. So whichever folder you're currently within in your OneDrive, that is where it will create that file. Okay. Now the main thing that I wanted to show is, for example, this recent tab is incredibly useful. Saves you going through files, folder, 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 to the file that you want. Has the most recently used ones, and it's quite a few of them that it houses, and that way you're able to jump to whichever ones you want. And this cloud-based way is actually a great way of sharing files via email without actually sharing copies of that file, and I'm going to show you how that works now. So if you're within OneDrive and it's in its own tab, then you click on the tiles at the top, reopen your email, and start a new email to whoever it might be. It doesn't particularly matter. Okay. And just as normal with an email, if you want to share a file with someone, but you want them to always see the most up-to-date version, so rather than sending a list of information that might need to be updated later and having to resend an email with a new version of that, you can attach copies of it. Now you can either do it via your computer, which is fine, but of course if you're now using OneDrive for Business at this point, you'll go to your cloud location. You then go into whatever it might be. I'll just add this in, and you click Next after selecting the file, and then you have two options. Now you can attach an actual copy, and that is one that when they open it, they will download it or view it in the browser, depending on what email they're using, or you can save it as a OneDrive link. Now this OneDrive link, it looks like it's an attachment, but whoever opens it is opening a live to the second copy. Now the key thing here is this More Actions tab. So at the moment, anyone with the link can view and edit this file. But if we click on the drop down and choose Change Permissions, we can choose whether we want only the recipients to edit it, only the recipients to view it, only people within the UWE domain to edit or view, or anyone at all. So if it's something you want to share with an external partner, or you don't much care who sees it, you could choose one of the bottom two. If you only want those people, so if this is a closed group, if it's a sensitive document, and you only want the people who you are emailing to be able to view it or edit it, then choose one of the top two options. So do if it's a file that's for information but not for people to change that information, then change it to anyone with the link can view. Okay, so if you're saying something at a departmental level and you want them to be able to see it, it's something that might get updated, so you don't want to send copies around that people might be referring to erroneously, then this is a good one to go for. If it's something you want people to work on, so you want them to contribute to it, then you would do it as a view and edit. Okay, then you would click OK, and it attaches the file. But again, as a link, not a literal file that they download. Now, as an example of something that is being shared at the moment but is for people to work on together, I have this Excel file here. The contents again don't matter, but this is a file where most of the information in it has been put in by staff. They've been adding to the same file, and normally when something is being edited by another member of staff or a recipient, it will appear up here that somebody is currently working on this document. Now, it doesn't mean that you can't work on the document at the same time, because it will save the changes together simultaneously. Okay, but it will tell you the name of the person that is currently using it. The other useful thing about it is in its original listing, it will show you who has most recently edited it. So if we go to something here, and it will tell you who's modified it. Now, these are files that I haven't shared with anybody, so they are private, whereas this is a shared file, and so if anybody had modified it, I would know who it was and when it was. Okay, so it's a very useful way of working collaboratively rather than sending duplicates of files back and forth all over the place. The other way that you can share files is slightly more direct, so you can attach them to emails, as I mentioned, or you can, for example, you can tick the file of interest and you can copy the link, and again you can change the permissions, so specific people, anyone at all, people within UWE, etc., etc. So specific people, and you can choose whether you allow editing or not. So this is really just a slightly different way of doing what I showed you with the email attachment. You can also give an expiration date. So if you need people to complete information by a certain date and you don't want them to be able to add to it after that point because you want that file then to be the final version, you can set a date at which point they won't be able to view it or edit it or whatever you want after that date, no matter how many times they click on the link. If you click on the specific people, you then type in names of people and it will look them up. So for example, if we use head of department as an example, just type in the name, it will search the address book, and then you know that that's the person that's going to get it. So again, useful for sharing sensitive information with only a few people. You can also share in the same way, without sending a link, it will send this directly to them as an email message. Okay, so you do apply to that and then type in the emails, and you can add a message saying, hi everyone, here is a copy of it. Okay, so there's multiple ways that you can share documents. You can also share folders in this same way. So there we go, no difference at all. And you can download files that you've highlighted and folders that you've highlighted individually as local copies. So if you just want something to keep or take away with the stick, then you can download them that way, but of course you won't be able to, you won't have updated information for them. So that's briefly about uploading to OneDrive for Business, how to use OneDrive files in OneDrive for Business, and how to share via email and directly from OneDrive itself. I hope you found that useful. Any questions as always, feel free to contact me, chris3.moore@uwe.ac.uk. Thank you.